Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where real-life stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking twists come to life. Here we dive into the secrets people hide, the truths that tear lives apart, and the moments that change everything. Subscribe and join us as we explore the dark, emotional, and unexpected sides of human experience. Stories you won't forget. Imagine trusting someone for 15 years, building a life together, only to discover that everything you believed in was a lie. Tonight, I'm sharing the story of betrayal, heartbreak, and a quiet reckoning that changed everything. This is the night my wife's secret affair collided with the truth, and the moment I realized that sometimes, the hardest decisions lead to the strongest freedom. Stay with me because this story is more than heartbreak. It's about reclaiming control when your world falls apart. The night everything shattered. A husband's quiet reckoning. After 15 years of shared life, my wife, Vanessa, spent the evening preparing herself with meticulous care. Every detail of her appearance seemed calculated. The precise sweep of her hair, the shimmer of her makeup, the subtle choice of jewelry that drew attention to her curves. She moved through the bedroom with a grace that was almost foreign to me now. Leaning in, her lips brushing my ear, she whispered, "Ethan, tonight I want to feel wild and truly alive." What she didn't know was that I had already uncovered her secret. Hours earlier, I had methodically packed her belongings into neat suitcases, each item a silent farewell to the life we had shared. I had fitted new locks on every door of our home, ensuring that when Vanessa returned, her sanctuary would be no longer. Across town, another woman, Daniel's wife Laura, waited nervously at a restaurant. In her hands were divorce papers, and in her eyes, the hurt and fury of a woman betrayed mirrored my own. Together, though strangers until that morning, we were about to orchestrate a reckoning that neither Vanessa nor Daniel would ever forget. Vanessa and I had shared 15 years that, from the outside, appeared flawless. We had built a family, raised 2 children, and weathered countless storms together. Our home had been filled with laughter, warmth, and traditions that seemed unbreakable. Yet, over time, subtle changes crept into the foundation of our relationship. The late nights she claimed to spend at work, the hushed tones over the phone, and the quiet glow of her screen in the dark slowly replaced the intimacy we once shared. First, I tried to dismiss it. Perhaps it was stress, perhaps a midlife longing for excitement. But the signs were unmistakable. Vanessa became distant in our conversations, her responses increasingly vague. She smiled at her phone in secret, lingered over texts, and began dressing with an attention to detail I hadn't seen in years. Lipstick perfectly applied, outfits carefully coordinated, hair styled to perfection. These small, almost innocuous changes gnawed at me like a persistent ache, each one a silent alarm that something was wrong. The turning point came one quiet evening. I was passing her office door when I heard a hushed conversation. The words were muffled, but the intimacy in the tone was unmistakable. My heart sank, a mix of disbelief and growing dread. Later, a glance at her phone confirmed my worst fears. Vanessa was seeing someone else. Rather than confronting her immediately, I chose to watch, to gather evidence and understand the full scope of the betrayal. I followed her movements, noting unexplained absences and errands that took too long. Each irregularity, each secretive glance, painted a clearer picture of infidelity. I resisted the urge to lash out, knowing that chaos and anger would only dilute the impact of the truth. I needed strategy, patience, and precision. Then the bombshell. Daniel, her lover, was also married. That revelation shifted everything. I wasn't facing a mere affair. I was confronting a tangled web of deception that connected multiple lives. In that moment, a plan formed. I reached out to Laura, Daniel's wife. Initially wary, we exchanged details cautiously, soon realizing that both of us had been blindsided by the same betrayal. Our shared pain became the foundation of a plan to confront both unfaithful spouses simultaneously. Meanwhile, Vanessa prepared for her night out, oblivious to the storm gathering. She spent over an hour perfecting her look, selecting her outfit with the care of someone preparing for an adventure. Every movement, every smile in the mirror, reflected a world she believed was hers to enjoy in secret. Upstairs, I worked in silence. Her belongings were packed carefully, the suitcases placed by the door like markers of a life coming to an end. I changed the locks quietly, methodically, the clicks echoing through the house like a heartbeat of resolve. Finally, the moment arrived. Vanessa, radiant and expectant, leaned close and whispered again, "I need to feel wild and alive tonight." Her words struck me like a blade, but I remained calm. My pain had been transformed into focus and determination. At the restaurant, our plan unfolded flawlessly. Daniel arrived first, expecting a quiet, passionate evening. Instead, he was met by Laura, her eyes blazing with fury and betrayal. Divorce papers were laid bare, her voice cutting through the ambient chatter of the dining room, drawing curious glances from nearby patrons. His carefully constructed fantasy crumbled in an instant. Moments later, Vanessa arrived. The excitement in her stride faltered when she saw Daniel cornered by his enraged wife. The thrill she had sought dissolved into shock and humiliation. The night she had imagined as a secret escape had become a public spectacle, a moment of reckoning she could never have foreseen. Back at home, I remained silent. When Vanessa returned, she found her belongings packed and the locks changed. Panic and desperation followed. Frantic messages, apologies, entreaties to forgive. I ignored them all. My focus was no longer on the past we had lost, but on the future I could now shape. Exposing Vanessa's affair wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming dignity, asserting boundaries, and finding closure. Though 15 years of marriage had ended in betrayal, I gained something far more valuable: freedom. The freedom to rebuild a life on my own terms, defined not by deceit but by integrity and self-respect. Sometimes the harshest truths are the ones that reveal the deepest strength. That night, I learned that patience, strategy, and unwavering resolve could turn heartbreak into empowerment, and betrayal into a new beginning. Betrayal is one of the harshest truths we can face, but it doesn't have to define us. That night, I lost 15 years of marriage, yet I gained something far greater: the freedom to rebuild a life on my own terms, with dignity and self-respect. Remember, sometimes the most painful moments are the ones that shape our strongest selves. If this story resonated with you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of truth, resilience, and life-changing revelations. Thanks for watching Breakup Cheater. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the next shocking story could be just around the corner. Share your thoughts in the comments and join our community of truth seekers. Remember, every story has a hidden side. Are you ready to see it?